Okay, so we've all heard the term Good Samaritan, right? It's basically our go-to phrase for anyone who does something nice for a stranger. But what if I told you that the original story, well, it isn't just some sweet little tale about being kind. It's actually this incredibly provocative, challenging, and brilliantly crafted argument that's designed to just completely tear down all of our excuses. So let's break this thing down.
I think at some point we've all kind of asked ourselves a version of this question. Where's the line? How much is enough? It's this universal human thought, and it's the exact question that kicks off this entire incredible story.
So our story starts not with someone who's genuinely seeking wisdom, but with a legal expert, a lawyer, who walks up to Jesus to test him. He wants to put him on the spot, probably in front of a crowd. This isn't a student asking a teacher for help. No, this is more like a cross-examination. And here it is, the opening question. And it's a huge one, right? A super profound question about the ultimate meaning of life. But you have to remember the context here. The lawyer's goal isn't really to get an answer. It's to see if Jesus will slip up. But Jesus, he's clever. He doesn't just give a direct answer. Instead, he flips the whole thing right back at him, asking, well, what does the law say? And the lawyer, being an expert, he answers perfectly. He nails it. He summarizes the two greatest commandments, the very foundation of the law. He's got the knowledge. So, case closed, right?
Well, not quite. The lawyer isn't satisfied. I mean, he answered correctly, but that wasn't really the point. He was looking for a loophole, an escape clause in the contract of, basic human decency. And this right here, this is the key psychological moment in the whole setup. This is all about self-justification. It's that deeply human, super relatable urge we all have to make ourselves feel like we're good people without actually having to do the hard stuff to prove we're already good enough.
So he asks this follow-up question. And let's be totally clear. He's not asking for a dictionary definition. He's asking for a boundary. He's basically saying, okay, define neighbor for me so I know exactly who I am required to love and, more importantly, who I'm not. It's the ancient world's version of us asking, do I really have to care about those people? Jesus, seeing right through this, doesn't give him the legal definition. He doesn't give the lawyer that neat little box he's desperately looking for. Instead, he tells a story, a case study, if you will. Jesus sets the scene in a very, very specific place, a place his audience would have known all too well. This isn't some once-upon-a-time fairy tale. No, this is happening on a real road that people listening would recognize immediately. And this road, it had a reputation, a bad one. It was this steep, winding 17-mile path that was famous for bandits and ambushes. It was literally the perfect place for someone to get into serious trouble. The setting itself just screams vulnerability and danger. And sure enough, a traveler is brutally attacked. He's stripped of everything, including his clothes, so his identity is gone. He's beaten. And he's just left for dead. He is completely and totally helpless. He is a person in absolute desperate need. And then the first two people to come along are a priest and a Levite. Now, these guys are the religious elites, the moral authorities of the day. They're the very people who teach the law about loving your neighbor. And what do? They see the man, and they cross the street to avoid him. I mean, you can't overstate the shock value here. For the original audience, this would have been just jaw-dropping. So the people you 100% expect to help don't. And this just perfectly sets the stage for the story's hero. And Jesus chooses someone so unexpected, it would have been downright offensive to the people listening. And this is where the story gets truly radical, because the hero is a Samaritan. Now, for the lawyer and his buddies, Samaritans were everything a neighbor was not. We're talking centuries of deep-seated hatred between Jews and Samaritans, all rooted in religious and ethnic conflict. To put it bluntly, the Samaritan was the enemy. And the contrast here is just brilliant. The enemy doesn't just help a little bit. He goes completely above and beyond. It starts with him feeling compassion, but then he acts on it. He uses his own supplies for first aid. He gives up his own ride. He takes the man to safety, stays with him, pays out of his own pocket, and then, get this, he even opens a line of credit for the man's future care. This is radical, costly, and all-in compassion. And with that, the trap is set. Jesus now has everything he needs to completely flip the lawyer's original question on its head. So this is it. This is the crucial shift. The lawyer asked an identity question. Who qualifies as my neighbor? It's passive. It's focused on the other person.
Jesus flips it to an action question. Which of these three acted like a neighbor? Now the focus is entirely on the lawyer's own choices, his own behavior. It's brilliant.
And the lawyer? He can't even bring himself to say the word Samaritan. He just mumbles, the one who showed mercy. He's been completely cornered by the story's logic. And Jesus delivers the final blow, the command, a direct challenge not just to the lawyer, but to all of us. Go and do the same.
So why does this 2,000-year-old story still hit so hard? Because we all travel on our own versions of the road to Jericho every single day. This story was never meant to be just a clever little thing to be interpreted. It's a call to action. It puts every single one of us at a crossroads, and it asks a very simple question. Which way are you going to go?
So, what are the big takeaways? First, real love, true neighborliness has to cross the boundaries we set up, whether they're political, social, whatever. Second, compassion that doesn't lead to action is pretty much meaningless. Third, having a title or a certain status doesn't make you a good person. Your actions do. And finally, the big one. Being a neighbor isn't about figuring out who is worthy of our help. It's about choosing to be the person who helps someone in need.
And that leaves us with the exact same challenge Jesus gave that lawyer. The question isn't, who is my neighbor? The real question is, who have you been passing by on the other side of the road?